Hey, it's Zerg here, and today we're going to be talking about the mage hero Vale. Vale's passive is Wind Talk. He gains increased movement speed for every kill he gets, up to 12 stacks. Here we see my speed is 295, and at max stacks, which is 12, you'll see my speed increases once I earn all these kills. Let's check again. My movement speed is now up to 344, so basically a free pair of boots at max stacks. The second part of his passive is that each of his abilities can be modified for increased damage or utility. This modification cannot be undone. Now let's take a look at all of his abilities. Vale's first ability is Windblade. He damages all enemies in a horizontal line in the target area. Here we see it is modified for increased damage. This move has very good range and is great for poking. Now here we see the same skill again, but with the increased area of effect. This makes it easier to hit players in general as well as larger groups of enemies. Personally, I recommend beginner Vale players to choose the increased area of effect until they become more skilled at hitting enemy players. His second ability is Wind Blow. He unleashes a tornado that damages and slows all enemies in its path. Modifying it for damage will leave a tornado on the enemies that it hits. Each extra tornado formed will deal continuous damage to all enemies around it. The more enemies you hit, the more tornadoes you form, and the more damage you do. Modifying it for utility will cause the tornado to knock up all enemies in its path. Pretty straightforward. Here we have Vale's ultimate ability, modified for utility or crowd control. Modifying it for crowd control causes all enemies caught within the casting range to be drawn into the center of the storm, where after a short time it will explode, dealing damage to all enemies within. This allows you to damage large groups of enemies easily, however they can escape if they have high enough movement speed. Here we see his ult again modified for damage. It does increase damage, surprise surprise, but it also reduces the magical defenses of any enemies hit by the explosion. Use this short window of time to maximize the damage with your other abilities. Now with a standard equipment kit and full damage modifications, we see that his full ability combo does about 6,300 damage. This same equipment kit with full utility modifications makes his full combo deal about 4,000 damage, about 2/3 the power of the damage path. There's no right or wrong way to modify his abilities, it's all up to personal playstyle. Vale pairs well with fighters and other heroes who are able to help lock down the enemy while he deals damage safely from a distance. Because it slows enemies on hit, Vale's ability 2 is important for helping to trap enemies in his ultimate, allowing you to deal massive damage. As he has no escapes of his own, he really shines when paired with fighters and tanks and any other heroes who can keep the enemy distracted while he dishes out damage from afar. The range on his abilities allow him to gank and surprise enemies from relative safety. He can quickly burst down enemies before they know what hit him. As noted before, his ability 2 can be very powerful when hitting groups of enemies. We see here that a single cast of his ability 2 reduced squishier enemies to half their health, though that may not necessarily be enough in a 4v2. As Vale, because he has no escape abilities, always try to remain behind your fighter and tank. The enemy tries to ambush us in the jungle, but I immediately move back, putting my fighter between the enemy and myself. Then the increased movement speed from my passive allows me to easily chase down my target. Don't be hesitant to use your ult and your long range ability 1 to finish off low health enemies. Again, being with a fighter and or tank will increase your ability to safely attack from the back line. Here we see my fighter and tank keeping the enemy busy while I attack from a distance. However, having a fighter or tank there can help to get you out of a tight situation should you get caught, so you can get back to the back line and put down damage safely from a distance. Again, Vale paired with fighters and tanks is a scary combination. Some items I recommend for Vale are Demon Shoes for the movement speed and because running out of mana is no fun, Concentrated Energy for the lifesteal sustain, Lightning Truncheon for the cooldowns and to make your pokes even stronger with its passive damage, Divine Glaive to chew through the armor of fighters and tanks, Ice Queen Wand to slow down enemies and also increase your lifesteal and movement speed, and lastly Blood Wings for raw damage and for the extra health it gives you. Also, if you may have noticed, I sold my boots after I reached full stacks on my passive in exchange for more power. Vale is a lot of fun to play, especially when you have teammates with lots of crowd control to lead the charge. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Zerg out.